Right. Anyway, like let others to connect. Hari, හැමෝම startups වලට good afternoon කියලා පිළිගන්නවා. So it's going to be a fresh start for every one of you. Like it doesn't matter you have done the ICT for O levels or not, right? You are going to have a fresh start from today onwards, right? Since you have selected the uh, ICT for your one of the A-level subjects, right? So since you have chosen the ICT to do in English medium, I'm going to do the dealing with you when we are doing the communication. Mostly I'm doing the things in English, right? ඒක ඔයගලන්ට උදව්වක් වේවි when you are answering the things and when you are get to know about the subject. And before we commence the class, I need to tell you some things regarding the ICT subject and the class, right? So we are going to have this class like on this particular time slot, which is from 12 to 2, right? So today we are taking this class online because we still do not have the permission to start the class physically, right? But I hope it will be here soon. As per the information, there are some classes are getting the permission, so I hope we all and in this particular area will be having the permission to have the classes physically, right? So let's hope and pray. Yes, hold on. මට yes තව එක පුතෙක් communicate කරනවා, just a second people. Right. So Dilina, there I have sent you the WhatsApp group link, right? So it's better you connect to the group, right? If you are going to continue the Zoom sessions for like another 2 to 3 weeks, I'm going to send the Zoom link to the group, right? Right. So I was telling you don't need to worry if you have done the ICT for O levels or not, right? So you can start it as very freshly and you can go with the ICT, right? So don't worry about the ICT subject in the O level, but if you have done it, it will help you, right? It will be a benefit for you, right? But it doesn't mean if you do not had the ICT for O levels is going to be a disadvantage for you, right? There is nothing like that. This is a fresh start, so we are going to start the things from the scratch, right? So today onwards, the only thing that you need to do to take the subject into you, right? I'm giving my best towards you people, and I'll try my best to minimize the hard work inside the class, right? And people, minimizing the hard work does not mean that you don't need to, that you can easily like pass the ICT. So when it comes to the A level, every subject is going to be a challenging one, right? So comparing to the O level, remember A level is up on the sky, right? So your O level is at the ground and the A level is like up on the sky, right? So remember, if you are uh, like doing hard on O levels, remember you have to do much harder in the A levels, right? So it is a journey that you have to start today, and you have to get ready from today onwards, right? Lang vela, A level lang vela පාඩම් කරනවා කියලා දෙයක් A level නැහැ, right? You have to be ready for anything, for any situation, in any time, at any time, right? So remember, fully loaded in only, right? ඕනම වෙලාවක ඕනම දෙයකට okay වෙලා ඉන්න ඕනේ. So that will be your responsibility, right? And I'll try my best and I'll give my best to keep you on that track, right? But remember, there will be a part for you to yourself to like build up who you are and build up the strength that you need for the ICT subject, right? So the knowledge, I will transfer it for you, right? And about the class, I'm not going to give any notes for you to write inside the class, right? Every note is printed for you to collect, right? So you can collect the notes by Monday, right? I will අරගෙන යන්න පුළුවන්, right? So I'll share the location of the class, right? So if in case the classes are going to start in physically by next week, you really don't need to come and take it, but it's better you collect it as soon as possible, right? And if I illustrate about the ICT subject in the A levels, right? It happens like this, right? So let me share the screen with you. So yeah, so your ICT in A levels, right? A level ICT. Oh, I'm sorry. What's happening here? Yeah. So the A level ICT, like it has 14 units, right? So the very first is the basic concepts, right? Second one is the introduction to computer, where you are going to learn about the computer and the components of it. So this basic concept is like basically regarding the data and information and some other concepts, right? And the third lesson is the number systems, right? Now, when I'm saying these things, some of you, if you have done the IT4 A levels, ළමයි තප්පරයක් ඉන්න. Right, so the number system is a third lesson, and people who have done the O levels, they have tasted some of it, right? Podi ප්‍රමාණයක් taste කරලා තියෙනවා. It's going to be like we are going further more, right, regarding the number systems. And this, they have tasted a little. Logic gates, right? The O levels කරලා තියෙන අය පොඩ්ඩ දන්නවා මේක ගැන, right? So, and the fifth lesson is the operating systems, right? So where we are going to talk about the Windows and all kind of things, and basically why there is an operating system and how it works. Sixth one, network. It is new for every one of you, because we are not talking about the networks in the O levels, right? And the seventh one is the systems, right? So there we are going to talk about how to create a computer system, right? And the eighth, it's the programming, oh, I'm sorry, not the programming language, it's the database management systems, DBMS, right? And the ninth is going to be the programming, right? Where we are going to use the programming language called Python, right? And the 10th, it is the web designing, which is pretty interesting, right? We get to know about how to design a web page and how to make it beautiful, right? How to decorate it, and how we are going to program with the back end, right? Then overload phone එකක හරි computer එකක හරි, you are working with the front end of the website. So we are going to talk about the back end as well, about the server side, right? So that is the 10th one. 11th one is about the Internet of Things. So basically it is about the, again, it's about some programs with the sensors and all these things. So this is the initial point to start about the robotics, right? අපි sensors එක්ක වැඩ කරන විදිය මේ lesson එකේ ඉගෙන ගන්නවා, program කරනවා. It's a practical lesson. And the 12th is the e-commerce, or like the electronic transactions. And the last one is the new trends. Like when it comes to the lesson wise, there are 13 lessons, right? And there is a one project, which is the 14th lesson, which we are not going to carry out in the tuition classes, right? Maybe it is there, it will be there in your schools, but still most of the schools are not really taken care of that thing, right? So these are the 13 lessons that you have to face. So for this, you got like more than 2 years. නේද? ඉස්කෝලේ අරගත්තොත් හරියටම 2 years වගේ තමයි ඔයගලන්ට settle වෙන්නේ. I'm sorry, I missed the 9. Right, in the class, you are going to find more than 2 years, right? And again, remember, then iskole you will be having 2 periods per day, and per week you are going to have 10 periods for one particular subject. ICT වලට ඔයගලන්ට periods 10ක් එනවා ඉස්කෝලේ. සතියක් අරගත්තොත්. Right, so in this class we are spending 2 hours to cover that 10 period of time, right? So that is why I am producing you the printed notes, right? So අපි ලියන කාලය සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම ඉතුරු කරගන්නවා. I will explain, and we will be doing the practicals and the activities, right? Which is the most needed thing in the A levels, right? People just excuse me for a second. Right. So yeah, this is the part that we have. So we are going to save the time. You will be save the time by giving the printed notes, right? Then all we have to do is the activities and the practicals, right? එතකොට මං explain කරනවා අපිට සමහර තැන්වල computer practicals කරන්න තියෙනවා. So we have the resources, right? And if you got a device with you, laptop kind of a thing, you can take අපිට අවශ්‍ය දවසට හැමදාම ගේන්න ඕනේ නැහැ, right? And I got some resources at my place as well, so don't worry. And සමහර දවස්වලට අපිට questions කරන්න තියෙනවා, diagrams හදන්න තියෙනවා, right? So it's a very interactive sessions that we are going to do, right? ඒ වගේම අපිට theory ගැන explain කරගන්නත් තියෙනවා. And then we have to go through the past paper questions from the very beginning, right? From the very beginning means like when we are starting the third lesson, like third lesson once we end it, there are past paper questions and lot of things that we have to do. Ekanisa, so my first advice is grab a past paper book to you. Demma araganna past paper book එකක් ගිහිල්ලා කවුරු හරි අක්කලා අයියලා ඉන්නවා නම් last year එකේ ICT කරපු ඒගොල්ලෝ ගාව තියෙනවා නම් එහෙම book එකක් ගත්තත් කමක් නැහැ, or else you just buy a fresh book, right? ඒක ඔයගලන්ට මේ years දෙක ඉවර වෙනකොට තව අලුත් පොතක් ගන්න වෙයි. මොකද ඔයගොල්ලෝ ඒ පොතත් එක්ක පාවිච්චි වෙන විදිහ අනුව, right? However, it's better you be prepared with a past paper book. Okay, once we done with a particular lesson, we are going to try the past paper questions regarding that lesson. That is how the class is going to go, right? Yeah, it is the way. And regarding your writing books, it's better you take a one particular book and divide it into two parts. Parts දෙකකට බෙදා ගන්න. ඒක specific parts දෙකක් නෙවෙයි. I usually carry out two lessons together. ඒක වෙන්නේ like theory and activity lesson දෙකක් එක ළඟ තියෙනකොට මම lesson දෙක එකට අරගෙන යනවා. Like from today I will be starting the very first lesson, the basic concept, which is a theory lesson, and the number system, which is an activity based lesson, right? එතකොට you will be receiving a tute, and tute will be containing most of the things, but we are maintaining a short note in our books, right? ඒක අපිට ගැළපෙන විදිහට අවශ්‍ය කොටස් වලට we are going to make the short notes, right? So when the time comes, when you need to rehearse the things, so your notebook, you can use your notebook as a short notebook, right? මොකද ඔයගලගේ note එක තියෙන tute එකේ your book will be a short note for you, right? So අපි short note create කරන්න පුළුවන් හැමතැනම we are going to create a short note, right? So then first you are going to look at the short note when you are going to rehearse the things. If you are not memorizing things, you can refer the tute, right? ඒක නිසා සාමාන්‍ය පිටු 200ක විතර පොතක් දෙකට බෙදලා පාවිච්චි කරන්න. මොකද නැත්නම් ඔයගොල්ලන්ට පොත් දෙකක් ගේන්න කියන එක ගොඩක් කට්ටිය එක පොතක් සමහර දවසට අමතක කරනවා, right? So it's better you have a book and divide it into two parts. So එක part එකක එක lesson එකක් කරගෙන යන්න, අනිත් part එකේ අනිත් එක කරගෙන යන්න. So whatever finishes first, then you can continue the next lesson with that part, right? එතකොට අපි ඒ විදිහට පොතේ කොටස් දෙක maintain කරනවා. That is how we are going to maintain our notebook, which is going to be a short notebook for you, right? So අපි එතකොට එහෙම තමයි game plan එක හදලා තියෙන්නේ. So අපි අවුරුද්ද දෙක ඉවර වෙනකොට ඔයාගාව short note එකක් තියෙනවා, ආගාව note එකක් තියෙනවා, ඔයා ප්‍රශ්න කරලා තියෙනවා. So you are ready to bet any time, right? So remember those things, right? එතකොට අද ඔයගොල්ලෝ ලියා ගන්න දේවල් ටික පොත තියෙනවා නම් පොත ඔයගොල්ලෝ නිකන් මාක් කරගන්න මොන තැන ඉඳලාද දෙවිදියට යන්නේ කියන එක. So you can continue, right? Okay, so that is the things inside the A-level ICT, right? So any questions? කාට හරි මොන හරි අමතර දැනගන්න තියෙනවද? You can on the mic and talk, or like you can send me a message via the chat. right? If you got any, just send me or just on your mic and ask, right? මං අදම paper එකේ structure එකක් පෙන්නන්නම් because you have to take this very serious, right? So I'll show you how the A-level paper works, right? So you have the idea how you are going to go, right? ඒ වගේම තමයි another important thing. Now in your syllabus from the third lesson to the 10th, මෙන්න මේ lessons ටික very critical, right? මේවෙන් තමයි අපිට වැඩිපුරම like paper එකේ like almost 90% is made out of these lessons, right? And then then again there are 5%, and from these two they got 5%, right? ඔය විදිහට තමයි ලකුණු 100 හැදෙන්නේ සාමාන්‍යයෙන්. So remember our third lesson එකේ ඉඳලා යනවා කියලා කියන්නේ you are like running the race, right? I'll show you the paper as well, right? ඔගොල්ලෝ බය කරන්න නෙමෙයි paper එක පෙන්නන්නේ. It's better you know what you are doing, right? ඇයි ඔයා මේකට මහන්සි වෙන්නේ මොකද කරන්නේ කියන එක. And again people, ඔගොල්ලෝ පන්තියේදී දෙන වැඩේ හරියට කරනවා නම් පන්තියේදී හරියට මහන්සි වෙනවා නම්, right? මම සාමාන්‍යයෙන් ගෙදර වැඩ දෙන ප්‍රමාණය බොහොම අඩුයි, right? I have planned this to do everything, like do all the exercises within these 2 hours, right? In සමහරවිට 2 hours වල මහන්සි වෙලා වැඩ කරන්න තියෙනවා, right? When it comes to the term test, I may give you a paper to do at home and come so we can discuss, right? Other than that, ගොඩාක් වෙලාවට homework දෙන ප්‍රමාණය අඩුයි, right? So I believe that's the way to keep you in a relaxed mind. But remember, it doesn't mean you don't need to rehearse the things at home, right? වානිතරම track එකේ ඉන්න ඕනේ, අමතක දේවල් බලන්න ඕනේ, අමතක වෙන්නේ මොනවද කියලා ඔයා දැනගෙන ඉන්න ඕනේ, ඔයා practice කරන්න ඕනේ, right? And you can always ask the questions from me in case if you forget something, right? Forgetting is a human nature, right? ඒක ඔයගලන්ටත් වෙනවා මටත් වෙනවා, right? So I don't expect for you to remember everything, but I expect you to practice. Like by experience, I know if you practice it, if you practice something well, you will remember it, right? Because it is the way that I remember things, right? මට ඔයගලන්ට මේ දේවල් ටික කියාගෙන යන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්නේ like with the teaching, I'm getting my practice, right? And I am rehearsing whatever the things that I am weak at. So I'm asking you to do the same, right? You get to know about your weak points, you practice it, right? Then nothing will be there for you to get down, like put you down, right? So you can continue with all the assets that you got, with all the strengths that you got, right? So the best way to get strong is to know about your weaknesses, right? So this is the I'll show you the 2019 paper because the 2020 paper I'm just having a single medium one. So yeah, so this is the English medium paper, right? So you will be given 50 questions for the MCQ, which you will be having 2 hours to complete, right? So within these 2 hours, you have to complete all 50 questions. So like more than 2 minutes are there. Like ඔයාලට practice වෙන්න කියන්නේ 2 minutes තියනවා කියලා හිතාගෙන. ඒතර මිනිත්තු 100කදී ඔයගොල්ලෝ paper එක ඉවරයි. You got another 20 minutes to check the paper, right? So yeah, we will be discussing these things during the class, right, when the time comes. So after the 50 questions, you will be given the second paper where you are going to check on another date when it comes to the exam. MCQ paper එක දවසක තියෙන්නේ, second paper එක තව දවසක තියෙන්නේ, right? So in the second paper, there are two parts, which is part A and part B. So part A is called the structured paper, right? And part B is called the essay paper, right? So part A, you got 4 questions and you have to write the answers on this paper. ඔයගලන්ට separate papers හම්බෙන්නේ නැහැ. You have to write the things on this paper, structured paper එකේ එතකොට උත්තර ලියලා you have to return the answer script. ඔය ඊට තියලා තියෙන්නේ ඒවට. Right? So there will be 4 questions. Each question is given 10 marks. Later it will be divided by 2. එතකොට ඇත්තටම ගත්තොත් one structured question is having only 5 marks. එතකොට ඒ ප්‍රශ්න 4 those are compulsory. Once you write the answers, you can obtain 20 marks for the 4 structured questions, right? So then the second paper, then මේ මුළු paper එකටම තමයි 3 hours ඔයගලන්ට දෙන්නේ. So we divide that 3 hours, like 1 hour for the structured paper and 2 hours for the essay paper, right? So in essay paper or in part B, you got 6 questions and you can choose 4 out of it, right? Any 4 you want. And each question is given half an hour. So within that half an hour, you should be able to like come up with the answer, right? So when you practice, don't worry, you will be through, right? So that is how the paper is arranged. So from today onwards, I am like making you ready, or I'm getting you ready to do this, to do the paper, right? ඒක තමයි පළවෙනි දේ. මොකද අපේ exam system එක නැත්නම් education system එක හැදලා තියෙන්නේ paper එකකට answer කරලා දිනන්න. So it is a competition, right? ඒක වෙන්න හොඳ දෙයක් නෙවෙයි. Like education should be there to gain the knowledge, but in Sri Lanka, like many other countries, it has become a competition, right? ඔගොල්ලන්ට campus university එකකට enter වෙන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්නේ like only 20 or maximum 25% of you people, right? හැබැයි 125 ඇතුලේ මෙතන ඉන්නවා 4 දෙනෙක්, ඔය 4 දෙනාටම ඉන්න පුළුවන්. ඔය 4 දෙනාම මම එතනට ගේනවා මම කියන විදිහට වැඩේ කරගත්තොත්, right? Okay, so that is the things that I need you to show, right? ඒක නිසා දැන් ඔයගොල්ලෝ දන්නවා දිග පළල කොච්චරද ඔයගොල්ලෝ ඉගෙන ගන්න යන එකේ, and you know what is the last objective, right? And during the session, during these 2 years, I'm getting ready you for this paper as well as like to use the ICT in your day-to-day life, right? ඔයගොල්ලෝ මෙතන ඉගෙන ගන්න දේ university එකකට enter වුණොත් university එකේ first year එකේ කියන්නේ IT degree එකක first year එකේ උගන්වන ටික තමයි ඔයගලන්ට මේ උගන්වන්නේ, right? ඒකට ඔයගොල්ලෝ university එකට ගියාමත් IT පැත්තෙන්ම නම් යන්නේ, so it will be a very big benefit for you to go for good schools, right? University එකට ගියාම ඔයගලන්ට තරගයක් එන්නේ නැහැ. ඔය university එකට enter වුණා කියලා කියන්නේ you will be taken a degree and getting out from that. It's regardless of the state or non-state. රජය එකක් වුණත් private වුණත්, if you register to something, ඔයා වැඩ කරොත් you will be getting the degree, right? But the entry, especially to the state university, the state universities තමයි ලංකාවේ තියෙන the finest universities, right? No private university can come up to that standard or that quality, right? ඒකයි state university එක ඒ තරමටම competitive වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. There are some arguable incidents, right? නේද රැක් කරනවා කියනවා, මහන්සි කියනවා, but as a person who has experienced that, you cannot beat, right? Morato University එකේ IT faculty එකෙන් එළියට එන කෙනෙක් එක්ක private university එකක IT කරලා එළියට එන කෙනෙක්ට they can't match, right? Moratuwa guys has the potential, right? Colombo UCSC එකෙන් එළියට එන කෙනෙකුත් එහෙමයි. Calne University එකකින් ඕනම university එකකින් එළියට එන කෙනා highly competitive, right? එයත් එක්ක සාමාන්‍යයෙන් අනිත් universities වලින් private university එකකින් එන එක්කෙනෙක් knowledge wise tally වුණාට practical world wise compete කරන්න හරි අමාරුයි. They are very competent people, right? So try your best to enter to a state university. එහෙම බැරි වුණොත් still you got many opportunities, right? State university එකට යන්න ඕනේ නැහැ කියලා it's not the end of your life, but I guarantee that will be a very good life for you and a very good experience for you, right? These rags and all these things, they are very minor cases, right? අනිත් එක ඒක ඒ පැත්තට එන්නේ in a very small percentage එකක්, right? ඒ කියන්නේ ඕගොල්ලෝ හිතිය යුතුත් නැහැ, right? As a person who have experienced the rag, if you take it easily, it is very easy one, right? I'll tell you the stories when we are doing the class, but yeah, for the moment, let's commence and go. Hari, එතකොට අද මම ගොඩාක් දේවල් කතා කරන්න යන්නේ since it is the first day. නිසා ඒ කියන්නේ subject matters පැත්තෙන් ගත්තම I'll give a start for the very first lesson, which is the basic concept, and your tutors will be getting ready at the at my place by Monday, right? So you can visit and collect the tute, right? මං කලින් කිව්වා වගේ අපි ඊළඟ සතියේ හම්බෙනවා නම් if the government change the rules and ask the tuitions to commence, you can collect it by next week, right? Okay. Any questions? Oh, right. So let's continue. All right. So I'll show you the soft copy of the very first lesson, which we name as the basic concepts. Yeah. So this is going to be your first lesson, right? So it is talking about the data and information, right? Something that the O-level ICT people know, right? Is know already, but I'll go from the scratch, right? And first of all, we have to talk about the data. So when it comes to the data, we are talking about quantities, characters, symbols, like values, texts, kind of things, which we cannot give an exact meaning, right? හරියටම මෙහෙමයි කියලා තේරුමක් දෙන්න බැරි දේවල් වලට අපි කියනවා data එකක් කියලා, right? So you can find many different data around you, right? So if I write some text, if I say red, you know it is a color, and you can't explain red like beyond the color. Red කියලා කිව්වම like අපි දන්නවා පාටක් කියලා එතනින් එහාට අපිට ආව විස්තර කරගන්න බෑ, right? And if I write you this particular these words alone, we can name it as a fruit, we can name it as a brand. නේද? Apple කියලා brand එකක් තියෙනවා, right? And there is a magazine as well, which is called Apple, right? So එහෙම වුණාම අපිට මෙයාව තනියෙන් ගත්තම we won't be able to give an exact meaning for this particular thing. But commonly we know that this red is a text, and apple is also a text, which means it is a data. This is also a data, right? And again, if I draw your attention to this particular value, 100. And again, 100 can have many different explanations, right? Someone can say this is an age, someone can say this is a price, someone can say this is a quantity, right? So commonly we can say this is going to be a value, right? And again, it is going to be a data. And if I draw you this is rupees, right? A currency symbol. And we address this as a currency symbol because we use this as our currency symbol. But that is in the Sri Lankan context. Sri Lankaවට අදාළව තමයි අපි රුපියල් කියලා කතා කරන්නේ. Right? Rupees කියලා refer කරන්නේ. But in some other country, RS dot can be used for something else. Right? So commonly, generally, we can say this is a symbol. And again, it is going to be a data. Right? Now, if I ask you something like this, can you create a meaningful sentence using these words? Yes, people? දැන් මම කතා කරගෙන යනකොට පොඩ්ඩක් ප්‍රශ්න අහනවා. Right? So you can give the suggestions. Can we create a meaningful sentence out of this? Yeah, using these things, what can we create? You may need some conjunctions, right? Like is, like Yes, any suggestions? You can type it, right? කොහොමද අපිට sentence එකක් හදන්න පුළුවන්? නේද? හතර දෙනාම මට නිකන් නේද උත්තරයක් type කරලා එවන්න බලන්න. Send me something. Yes, everyone. Yes, Dilina. Good. A red apple. අපි එක තව ටිකක් හැඩ කරොත් a red apple is 100 rupees කියලා කියන්න පුළුවන් නේද? Right? A red apple is 100 rupees. Yes, that is correct. Yes, how about Kaviru? Yeah, I think one of your friend is trying to connect. Yes, Pahan is here. Yes. Dilina said a sentence. How about others? It's going to be the same one if you made it, right? So we can create a sentence called a red apple is 100 rupees, right? So Dilina, well done. So what Dilina has done is using this data he has created a sentence. So the sentence is a red apple is 100 rupees, right? Now this is called an information, right? So what we have done here, we got some data we arrange the data meaningfully. And someone can arrange these data without any, like, in an unmeaningful manner, right? If someone says red 100 apple rupees, you don't get anything, you don't get any idea. But if someone says this like this particular way, a red apple is 100 rupees, so it is, right? So what is the relationship with data and information? So like when data arranged in a meaningful manner, we are going to have an information, right? So that is the way that we are going to define the data and information, the relationship between data and information, right? Okay, so I want you to add this to your note, right? So this is going to be the very first short note that you are going to make, right? So put the heading as the basic concepts of ICT. I'll write the heading right over here. Right? And you can draw this little diagram that we discuss in the book. So let me know when you are done, people. Dilina is done. How about others? Okay, Nikki is done. Okay, right. Mahanvi is done. How about Kaviru?
Okay, sir.
Right, great. Okay, next. This says the data can be categorized into two different things, quantitative and qualitative. Now, quantitative means what? අපි සිංහලෙන් ඔබට කියනවා ප්‍රමාණාත්මක කියලා. So we can quantify that, right? We can measure it, right? So if the data is measurable, we call them the quantitative data. And there are some data which cannot be measured, right? Which is not easily measurable, which call them qualitative data, right? So quantitative, qualitative. So what are these quantitative and what are the examples? If you think, as it says, the price is a quantitative one. Area, vargapale, is a quantitative one. Volume, height, width, and all these things are quantitative data. When it comes to the qualitative, it is talking about the smells, the taste, attractiveness, colors, and all these things. They are called the qualitative data, right? So quantitative, qualitative, right? And at the bottom, they are talking about the characteristics of data. So it says can be processed, no meaning, can be communicated, can be stored, right? So we can understand this now, neither. We know that data, when data is processed meaningfully, you are going to receive an information. So that means data can be processed, right? Data process karanna puluwan. And like I said, when you are taking data alone, you cannot give an exact meaning. So for that reason, we say data does not contain any meaning. And it can be communicated, neither. So we can communicate the data with each other, right? Electronically or non-electronically. And as well as it can be stored using some storage devices, neither. So you can store it manually, you can store it electronically, right? So we, like, when the session goes on, like we are talking about like manual storing and the electronical storing about the data, right? Yes, and there are some characteristics of quality data, which says accuracy, validity, reliability, timeliness, relevance, and completeness. Now, based on these characteristics, the information which get created contain the same qualities, right? We are going to talk about these qualities in detail when we are going to talk about the qualities of an information, right? So for the moment, I'm not going to describe the characteristics of quality data very much because we are going to talk about it with the information, right? Okay, so this particular thing, short note, right? So you can draw with me. So I'm going to draw a sketch, right? So when it comes to the data, I'll maximize the screen, right? So hold on, people, before you go for that, it's better you write this particular sentence on your book after the this diagram. Say it like this. I'll write it over here so you can copy. When data is processed, meaningfully, creates an information. When data is processed meaningfully, creates an information. Then I'm going to draw you the decomposition of data, right? So data, they basically divide into two parts. which is quantitative and qualitative, right? So you can mention can be measured and cannot be measured, right? And you can have some examples as well, right? What are the examples? Height is there, width is there, area is there, right? Those kind of things. And for qualitatives, color, patterns, and what else? The smell, right? Those things can be taken as the examples for the quantitative and qualitative. Yeah. Copy this to your book. And I think it's better we write down the qualities of this. Qualities ටිකක් ලියා ගන්න. ඒක මේ විදිහට කරගත්තා නම් හොඳයි. Wait, I will draw it for you. So you round the data and you can have it like this, right? And if you know how to do the artistic things, you can make this much nicer, right? So data is having these type of qualities. No meaning, can be stored, can be processed, and what did I miss? Can be communicated. Right? So have this paper. Let me know when you are done, people. Okay, Nitin is done. How about the others? Okay, Kabir is done as well. Right, Pahani and Dilina. All right, good. Keep it up, people. Right, so then after we are going to talk about the components of life cycle of data. So like this says how the day, what happens to data. So it is easy. It gets creates, it gets managed, and if it is obsolete, so we remove it, right? So in your syllabus, it is set by these three steps. හැබැයි මම මෙතන දාලා තියෙන diagram එකේ create is there, creation is there, and managing is divided into several different things. Can you see? It creates, so managing includes store, use, share, and archive. And if it is obsolete, then you can destroy. Right? So sharing means managing වලට අපිට අයිති දේවල්. So share, we can share it, we can use it if you want, right? We can store it, we can archive. Archive it means like archive කරනවා කියලා කියන්නේ data එක currently we are not going to use that, but we may need it in the future. So we are storing it for future purposes. And that archiving and store is two different things. Stored data means you are using those data and it is saved to a hard disk or whatever the thing. So those are being used in day to day, like currently for the things. When you archive it, you are not using those data frequently, but it is there protectedly. We can for us to use in some other time in the future. We don't know when, right? එම data archive කරලා ගොඩාක් කාලයක් තිබ්බම තමයි ඒ data obsolete කියලා අපි consider කරන්නේ. Then we can remove that, right? So like in your examination, if they ask what are the components of life cycle of data, these are the three steps that you need to mention: creation, management, and removal, right? So into the short note, let's put these three නේද? ඒතර මේ තුන තියෙනකොට අපිට ලේසි එක අඳුන ගන්න. Right? So where we are going to say අපි කොහොමද ගන්න මෙයාගේ නම් මෙම ගමු නේද? ඕනනම් data life cycle කියලා ගන්නත් පුළුවන්. So data life cycle, right? So how data life cycle is going to be? So it create, I'll try my best to keep this as a scrapbook නේද? ලස්සන කරන්න බලන්න. Right? And you can manage it. And you can use the colors. And you can remove the obsolete data. Right, so it is going to be the three steps of data life cycle: create, manage, and remove. Right? So it's a simple concept, right? ඔකලන්ට ඔය විදිහට මතක තියාගත්තා නම් ඇති. Right, done. Yes. How about others? Dilene is done. Okay. Right. So moving forward. Now here they have given a very good definition of information. Now previously we have written some definition that we said when the data is processed meaningfully, we are getting the information. And here they have given the definition in some broader manner. They say facts provided or learned, right, about something or someone, right? And as well as we can say data as processed, stored, or transmitted by a computer, right? So we can give that as a definition of the information as well, right? So it's better you copy this particular thing to your short note as well, right? එතන definition එකක් දීලා තියෙන නිසා, right? So let's copy that down. Lamai, are we done? Okay. Right. So next one is about the value of information. Now, this is something a little bit important, right? Because value of information, we have to figure out when the information is going to have its value, the highest value, and what happens to the value with the time for an information, right? So the point where the information is being created, yeah, හැදෙන වෙලාවෙදි තමයි that information has the highest value, right? So we use the information to make the decisions, right? So එයාව හැදෙනකොට එයා නිර්මාණය වෙන වෙලාවෙදී with the time when it is created has the highest value, and with the time the value of the information will be decreased, right? And how it is going to be decreased? It is going to decrease in this manner, right? I can show it to you using a graph. So this is going to be value of information. So if this is the value, if this is the time, it goes like this, right? You can say this place, this is the time that information creates. Information get created, right? So this is the highest value, right? So this point, it has the highest value, and with the time it will get decreased, right? Yeah. So I want you to have this onto your short note. So value of the information, highest value is there at the creation point and will decrease the value on the time. Let me know when you are done, people. Okay, 2 are done. All right, 3 are done. All right. Hari. Now this is a comparison, so which you have to learn. What are the ways that we can compare the data and information, right? So as it says, data is used as input for the computer systems, and information will be the output of the data, right? Data is unprocessed facts and figures. Information, in the other hand, it's a processed data. And information is highly depends on the data provided, like due to the provided data, and information will be created. But not that data is depends on the information. And data is not specific, right? But the information is. And data is considered as a single unit, but information is the collection of those, right? So likewise, you can compare in many different aspects. So the comparison, it is something important for you, right? මොකද ඔයගොල්ලන්ට විභාගෙදී compare කරන්න එන්න පුළුවන්. We are not going to put this in the short note, right? But it's better you memorize that, right? කොහොමද මේක compare වෙන්නේ කියලා. So then we are going to talk about these characteristics of valuable information. Like I said in the previous, in the very first page, these quality data will create the quality information. So we are going to talk about those characteristics in a valuable information. So the first one is timeliness, right? Now timeliness means what? You should receive the information in time to have or to make decisions out of it. Like the information will not be considered as a quality one if you receive the information suddenly and you have no time to make decisions from that. දැන් ඔයගොල්ලෝ විභාගය කරන්න ඉන්නකොට, like when you need to face the A-level examination, the final term test, which is help from your school, is very important for you, right? Because we know by experience the term test marks will be the marks that you are going to, the last term test marks will be the marks that you are going to score in the A-level examination, right? So from the teacher's side, they always try to give you the final marks before you leave to study leaves, right? So like you will be receiving 1 month of a time for study leave in the when you are like at the end of the schooling, like in the grade 13. So before that, we try our best to provide you the marks regarding the subjects. So once you receive that, you can decide, okay, what are the places that I have went wrong, and how I'm going to build up those errors, or how we're going to overcome those errors. So you got enough time to change. You got month of a time to fix your small mistakes, right? You got enough time to do the small mistakes. So when the information has that quality, we call it a valuable information. So the timeliness, right? And the other one is called the accuracy, which is very obvious. If you take incorrect data or incorrect information, you will make incorrect decisions, right? So based on the information, the best thing that we are doing is making the decisions. So to make decision, or like to make accurate decision or effective decisions, we need the accurate information. Based on the inaccurate information, we will be doing the false decisions, or like the inefficient decisions, which will not very productive to us, right? So if you take the same example, the term test marks, if you are receiving the incorrect mark for particular subject, so based on that you will be getting the steps to overcome that particular thing, or like to react that particular result. Like 72 කියලා තියෙන එක teacher අතින් වැරදිලා by mistakenly it is recorded as 27. So which is going to be a very big problem. So because you are going to make your decisions based on that 27. So you will be panic, you will be trying harder to get to the subject, but you have already done enough because you are having 72. There is only a little thing for you to get uh, like a line for you to have a good score. But due to that false information, you were like drawn into a different situation, or like you were put into a different situation, right? So accuracy matters. So in a valuable information, accuracy will be always there, and enhance the understandability, right? So that is why basically the informations are there, right? So when we are having some information, we enhance the understandability. Like now I'm giving you the details regarding the subject matters. So you will enhance your understandability. Okay, this is the way it's done. This is the way we are going to answer the question. Like so, like that, you will enhance your understandability. So that information which does not have that quality won't do anything for you. Then how the first man who stepped on the moon is Neil Armstrong. It won't enhance your understandability or like enhance your knowledge, because you know that fact already, right? And if I tell you that Chinese people are building a artificial moon in their country, maybe it is a new news for you, which is a true. They are making a moon to light up the Beijing, the main city of them. To regulating expectation to reduce the electricity. Regular power right? So that is going to add some knowledge, right? And again, it should be less uncertainty. The valuable informations are giving you less uncertainty, right? Because when you are making the decisions, you are making it for future, right? Or to the very next minute. Then එතකොට ඔයා ගන්න decision එක ඔයාට sure වෙන්නට reliable වෙන්න නම් your information should be reliable, or like within should have less uncertainty, right? Uncertain කියලා කියන්නේ sure නෑ කියන එක, right? So then only you will be able to make the decisions in a very solid manner. And the last one is the presented within the context. ඕක ගොඩාක් වෙලාවට අපි වරද්ද ගන්නවා නේද? ඉස්සර අපි grade 11 වලදී සිංහල රචනාව ලියනකොට we are not always presented within the context. කියලා තියෙන දේ නෙවෙයි අපි ලියන්නේ ගොඩක් වෙලාවට රචනාවට නේද? අදාළ දේ ලියනවා. Then there are a lot of related things, not onto the topic, right? But if it is a valuable information, it's going to be presented within the context. Now, if I'm about to give you the knowledge about ICT, I have to present the things regarding ICT, not regarding anything else, right? Then you will be receiving the knowledge that you need to receive, right? So yeah, those are the what we call the characteristics of valuable information. So this, of course, you need to put into your short note, right? In a very short way, right? So how we are going to write it? Like this. So what are those? First one is the timeliness. Yeah. Timeliness, accuracy, what else? Yeah, enhance understandability. Right. So those are going to be characters of valuable information. The last one is the presented within the context. Right. Okay. හරි. මහන්සිද? පළවෙනි දවස්වල නිකන් ඇති වගේද? Yes, everyone. Right. Let's talk about the big data and let's end the session a little early today. හැමදාම එක එන්නේ නැහැ. Right? So the next one is about the big data. Now this big data is something belongs to your generation. අපේ generation එකේ තමයි මේක පටන් ගත්තේ, like back in early 2000s, right? It starts. ඒ කියන්නේ ඊට කලින් there were big data, but like very limited amount of people were interacting with it. But nowadays, like entire world population is interacting with the big data, and it happens with the emergence of the social media, right? So there were big data previously which was collecting from different kinds of institutes for their purposes, right? For institutional purposes. But when the internet and this social media emerges, it becomes a very good place of collecting of big data inside it, right? So like everyone is putting everything into the social media nowadays, right? So if you just go through a profile of a person, you can have a very good idea about her or himself, and what are the favorites, what are the dislikes, what is the situation, what kind of attitude this person contains, what are the qualifications, where is from where he or she is, right? So lot of details can be gained. And again, when lots of data gathered into a one particular place, it gives an organization a bigger benefit of making decisions, of making very solid decisions. නේද? ඔයාට ගොඩාක් data තියෙනකොට හොඳ තීරණයක් ගන්න පුළුවන්. Right? So they will, especially the organizations, will use this big data to make up their future road, or like to make their future plans and have some to increase their profits on future businesses or in future transactions, right? So with big data and with the analysis, they can gain many different information which helps with the decision making. So this is the way that the big data is being collected and analyzed all over the world, right? So big data is there for the communication. So like in the communication, like 1 year ago, like they were predicting by 2020, one person will always connected to 7 devices averagely, right? Then ඕගොල්ලන්ගේ ගැන පොඩ්ඩක් හිතලා බලන්න. You are connected, maybe you are connected with your personal device, with a computer, with school devices, with your mother's, with your father's devices, right? So if even when you are going to do some higher education, you will be connected with the computers of that particular institute. So this seems very true, නේද? දැන් මම අර ගත්තොත් I am connected with a mobile phone, with a laptop, and with a smart board. And when I'm going to school, I'm connected with those computers, like, and when I'm visiting some other places. I'm connected with the devices of them as well, right? So I'm a very connected person with the devices, and each and every device is collecting the data of ours, right? So we are just uh, like what, giving and taking the information through these devices, right? So like never before, now the devices has the capability of gathering the data into it, right? So it is a huge place when it comes to the devices to collect the data, right? And these data will be used by these sectors, the medical, industrial, vehicles, retails, especially when it comes to the medical and retail, right? So, you know, now when you are visiting to a hospital, they always collect your data. They take the telephone number, they take the address, they take the age, the gender, and all these things. Like when the data is gathered now, if you take uh, hospitals nowadays, they are maintaining their own websites and own systems, right? Now they are giving us the some apps to our mobile phones to like seek how our past reports and past records are happened, right? So that will give the information to the patient as well as to the hospital, right? So based on that, the hospital can recognize what are the diseases which is like emerging these days, what are the precautions that they need to take, what kind of packages that they need to create, and which kind of treatments that they have to treat frequently these days, many benefits, right? So according to that, they will lay their business strategy as well, right? Because some health packages issue කරනවා, they take treatments issue karna. So it is basically, it's majorly depends on the information and big data, right? Because big data means again the information which is having in a bulk way, right? And when it comes to the industrial, again it is, right? With this big data, they can make the decisions easily. What are the requirements? Like what kind of productions that they need to do? What is the customer needs and all these things. And when it comes to the vehicles, again it is, right? Because nowadays vehicle is not just a mechanical thing. It's a mechanical thing which has a computerized system inside it. So we call it an embedded system, right? So from that, they can track a lot of things. When it comes to a lot of vehicles, they know what are the tracks that these drivers are listening to, and what are their favorite FM radios, and how what is the way that they are driving, and what are the records regarding the services of the vehicle. So many things is there, right? So those can be easily imported or like exported into the vehicle companies, right? When they are doing a research, right? So you can compute එකක් ඇතුලේ තියාගෙන අපි vehicle එක ගැන details එයාට දෙනවා හා සමානයි. It's the same thing, right? And when it comes to the retails, people like big data, like එතනදී හැදෙන big data එක අපිට හිතන්න බැරි තරම්, right? So like when it comes to the retailing, people will always now visit into the website and see what they like, and they click on those, they search on those, and they sometimes they collect to their personal lists. නේද? සමහරලා favorite ඒවා කියලා එකතු කරගෙන තියාගෙන ඉන්නවා. So later they will do the purchasing, right? So that each and every e-commerce websites, where eBay, Amazon, ikman.lk, right? Even in social media, right? Products they collect the detail. Key දෙනෙක් මේ product එක බලලා තියෙනවද? Key දෙනෙක් interested වෙලා තියෙනවද? Key දෙනෙක් purchase කරලා තියෙනවද? Right? So those details will be collected, and then those will be used to present you the same kind of productions. නේද? ඔයා eBay එකේ ගිහිල්ලා mobile phone එකක් search කරලා බැලුවොත් ඊළඟ දවසේ eBay එකට යනකොට ඔයාගේ device එකෙන් ඔයාට ගොඩාක් present කරන්නේ ගෙනල්ලා illustrate කරන්නේ mobile devices, right? So you will be seeing like, oh my god, there are a lot of things that which I have searched for, right? So it will create the need inside the customer's head. නේද? අපි එකක් බැලුවොත් දැන් අපිට ඒක ගන්න නිකන් උවමනාව දෙනවා ඒක. මේ chart එකක් තියෙනවා, like it is on different prices, it is on different colors, and you got these kind of features inside this, and it does not have in this device. So it is basically invade the customer's mind and will influence them. නේද? ඔයාද මේ ගන්න ඕනේ. ඔයාට මේ හොඳම chance එක ඇවිල්ලා තියෙනවා. Right? To do that, big data is being used. Right. We'll put some things regarding the big data into our short note, right? Yeah. But we not taking a body there capture then. Yeah, people, it's better you copy this down. මෙන්න මේ lines දෙක copy කරගන්න short note එක. ඒක ඉවර වෙන්නේ මේ etc කියන තැනින් ඊළඟ පිටු. Right? Yeah. People and නේද මේකට කලින් ඇත්තට මෙයාව ලියුණා නම් හොඳයි. Sorry, I only looked into the need of big data. Right? ඒක ඔයගොල්ලෝ arrange කරගන්න big data කියන එක define වෙලා need of big data කියන එක ලියන්න. Right? Let me know when you are done, right? Okay. Two are done, I guess. Oh, no, one is done. How about others? Right. Okay, so people, I'm going to end the session from this point. So before we stop, I have to tell you something. By next week, we are going to start the third lesson as well, which is called the number system. Right? එතකොට අපි ඊළඟ දවසේ පැය දෙකම තියරි කතා කරන්නේ නැහැ. So since today is the first day, අපි ටික වෙලාවක් කතා කරපු නිසා මම මේක ඉස්සරහට අරගෙන ආවේ. So next week we are going to start the next lesson as well. So 1 hour will be theory, which is the first hour. And the next hour, we are going to do the activities. Activities means we are going to do some maths, right? Number system lesson, right? So we are going to do the both by starting by next week. So get ready, right? And arrange your book as I told you, right? And more importantly, please collect your tudes starting from Monday. And please don't worry about your payments or other things, right? So you can pay, like inform your parents. You can pay like whenever it is easy for you during the month, right? Tudes collect කරන්න pay කරන්න ඕනි කියලා නීතියක් නැහැ, right? So you can visit to my place and collect the tudes, that's all, right? So you have to collect 2 tudes. Remember the first lesson, this particular note, and the third lesson, right, which is the number system, right? Okay, so today we are going to end the session from here, right? I have recorded this session and I will put the link to the group, so anyone who need to see it can visit there and see it, right? And we will be meeting next week for the very same time, right? මම හිතනවා අද කියලා දීපු දේවල් ටික හිතට යන්නේ නැති කියලා. So next week we are going to meet for the very same time, so from 12 to 2, right? Okay, thank you very much for coming today, right? So let's meet by next week, right? So thank you very much, people. I'll see you on next week, right? Okay, Pahani, thank you. Right, Nikini, thank you very much. Right, Kaviru, thank you very much, Kaviru. Okay, Dilina, thank you very much. Dilina, add වෙන්න group එකට.